Good morning. Happy Friday. Today's topic is fucking powerful women. So this turns me on big time. What is this and what do I mean turns me on? The essence of it. So let's totally reframe this whole powerful woman thing right now. Let's reframe it permanently. Well, not permanently, but let's reframe it for the foreseeable future right now. Powerful woman is not just a woman in a suit or who's, CEO at a Fortune 500 company, Fortune 50, Fortune 1000. She's not just a woman who's a boss and making a bunch of money and, is externally amazing. Okay. All that stuff is just effect anyway. A powerful woman is about the essence of her, the cause of her, the being of her. When I say powerful woman, I'm not hardly talking about the world's idea and all the images that come to people's minds and all the monkey activation, all the monkey activation that goes on in people's brain when I say powerful woman. I think probably a good half of the world goes into a fucking flight or freeze state when you say oh God, and don't use words like witch and priestess and oracle and shit, seer, like it, people lose their goddamn shit. Like, shut up. When I say powerful woman, I mean a woman who's honestly and intimately connected with herself. Honestly. Ooh, this is a deep topic. Yes. Honestly. What do I mean by that? Honestly and intimately connected. So what's pretty normal, not even amongst women, but in society, but I'm talking about women in this context, is we ignore our bodies for long periods of time, decades. We ignore our bodies. We could be in pain with anything and tolerate the pain for a long time. Like that's socially normal. We can, we'll lie. Like women, it's just so normal. We just lie. We lie in the presence of men. We contort ourselves. It's so normal that it takes such conscious work and consistent effort to even realize how we're lying. So, for example, myself, as a younger person having sex, you learn very quickly the way men are not satisfied. Like if he's displeased or you're not doing something, right? They let you know. Women don't do that because when you're younger, before you learn about your body and what pleases you, and because we're all, like I said, marinating in patriarchal conditioning, okay? We defer, we learn very young to start deferring to what a man wants. And in that deferring, the message is your body doesn't matter. Your needs don't matter. Your pleasure doesn't matter. So most women learn early that to ignore their body, whether it's at the expense, whether it's to defer to a man's pleasure or to defer to society's expectations of her. Okay. That's how a vast number of women worldwide are taught to relate to their body. So when you get taught to relate to your body that its pleasure is not important or less important, or that pleasure, like you're not supposed to like sex. What? Like that's unclean. How about the fact that the conditioning directly, indirectly, through church, through uneducated parents, the men who we've slept with, etc., that our vaginas are ugly. How about that? A lot of women don't even look at their vagina. A lot of women feel like their vagina is ugly. A lot of women, their natural smell, which is not it's a pure smell. They don't like it because of condition. So anyway, that's a deep thing that I would even love to have another person come on here and powwow about. However, a woman who's powerful is very much in touch with her pussy. She looks at it. She might, you know how men fondle their dick sometimes? They're just sitting casually and their hands are in their pants, sort of fondling. Powerful women do the same thing. For those of you who have daughters, didn't your daughter play with herself? My niece, who's 16 months old right now, when I change her diaper, she touches herself. She's been doing it for months. She's currently 16 months old. And for many of us, we were doing that. And for those of us who were very alive, awake, electric, and kept doing it, right? Oftentimes somebody in our life, parents, who knows, came and said, don't do that. Don't do that. Nah, don't do that. So we learned there's something wrong about, like, that's bad, okay? So a powerful woman touches her pussy. She rolls, rubs, however she chooses to touch herself, but she touches. She feels the fluids, the natural fluids that's there. She smells herself. She tastes herself. She looks at what feels good to her when she touches it. She looks at herself in the mirror. When she feels pain, she questions where the pain comes from. She doesn't just keep going through her day with all her responsibilities. And then that pain accumulates and turns into some big old thing. A powerful woman is honest about her emotions. She's honest about how she's seeing things. Now, that sounds really simple on some level, doesn't it? She's honest about her emotions and she's honest about seeing things, right? And then she speaks them. She's very much in touch with the quiet world, the unseen world. She's very much in touch with the wholeness of herself. When I say the wholeness, again, her mortal side and her immortal side, her light side and her dark side. She has the emotional skill to interface with an array of human difficulties and the stew of morality here on earth. That's a dynamic, right? I mean, if we look at a scale of good and bad, right? And good is all the way on this end, and bad is all the way on that end, and then everything in between, and all the personalities and entities on planet Earth that sits anywhere on that scale, she can interact with all of them without judging, right? Oh, look at that. Ooh, not that. Ooh, she's this. Look at that. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, she's so good. Oh, this is so great. Oh, she's not this. I don't like him. They shouldn't do that. Why is she dressed like that? Why does he sound like that? Men don't do that. She's a teen. She should be. No, this is not right. The whole scale, every single thing you could think of, which is endless on that good or bad scale of morality, right? She can interface with all of them, devoid of programming and judgment. She can shapeshift without judging herself. She could like literally choose to be a whore today. She could literally choose to be an angel who's good and holy and pure today. Now, this is another way of being on planet Earth. Like most people are very much inside of their identity, and that's who they are. Okay. So there are women who are at everything I just described. Let's package that. Boom. So that's a powerful woman. I know that's a long explanation, but that's a powerful woman right there. And I could say a whole hell of a lot more. And I would love to have somebody here to have this conversation with me. There's so much more to say about what makes a powerful woman. So don't hardly think that everything I just said is conclusive. Okay. So who do you think this woman wants to fuck? Who do you think she's interested in fucking? Like, who do you think turns her on? Now, here's the thing. When she's at this level of emotional maturity, she can turn herself on. Like, she doesn't even need a man to turn her on. So it's not about she need a man to turn her on. She knows how to do this for herself. What she's actually looking for is an experience that allows her to play in whatever particular domain she wants to play. That feels good. Or that maybe is healing for her. Or that maybe is explorative for her. So this falls completely outside of the modern day world of marriage. And she can be married, don't get me wrong. She can be married, but believe me, her husband is dynamic than a mug. And he lives it. He don't just get on YouTube and talk about it. Or get with his friends and, or like to intellectualize like some dudes do and like to just talk and debate and go back and forth and egos, throwing each other's egos around. And my knowledge is more, mine is right. And no, this, did you know? And this and that, and da. Fuck you. Okay. Let's go down where nothing exists. See, your ego, zero. You want to turn off? Well, listen, this is how dynamic and interesting. It really just depends on if she's okay with being in the presence of your ego that's active. Okay. It's like, okay, yeah, I see your ego's there. Fine. Okay, let's play. Let's play with that. And let's, is there something interesting? Is there somewhere we can go interesting here? You see? And so what I'm finding, is, as I said last week, last Friday, as a matter of fact, you can go back and watch it. I think the title is, Have Men Been Conquered by the Patriarchy or something like that. This way that women have, as I talked about earlier today, lie. Like we've learned to lie, be disconnected from our bodies, etc. Right? And what has happened is, over the last 50 years, and particularly over the last 10 years, more women have started to tell the truth about what's going on in their body, the truth about their emotions, the truth about what they sense, the truth about what they feel, devoid of societal stuff, okay? I'm not talking about women who get on the internet and whine about men and whine about da-da-da-da. No, a lot of the stuff that's being talked about, a lot of it is actually being talked about on the internet. But when she is really honest, there's a depth in her voice. There's a real depth in her voice. Because a lot of us learn to even bring our voices up like this because we want to be more appealing, because the patriarchy told us that women who take up less space and who seem lighter and more pleasant and who smile at men and make them feel this way, then we are the ones who are chosen. Therefore, she never allows herself to rest entirely in her body. So what you'll find with a woman who's healing, a woman who's becoming true, her voice gets deeper. Okay. So you'll find when you actually start talking to women who are actively in this work or who have been in it for a while, their voices are deeper. There's a clarity of language. When they talk, it actually touches you inside. Like it touches spots inside you. Like really imagine that somebody talks and they're not just talking and you're listening, but you actually feel their words touch your insides and like trigger your brain in very clear ways. So this is part of what makes a woman powerful. And when this woman is awake, she's not interested in oh my God, just the thought, I don't even want to go there. Not interested, right? She's interested in something that allows her to advance in herself with another person who's also looking to advance in themselves and to get beyond what I talked about yesterday, the morality of whatever is right. Okay. So right before I got here, I finished writing an email. I haven't sent it yet, but it's going to go out today to my email list. And the title was called Fucking Powerful Women. That's why I decided to title this Fucking Powerful Women. And matter of fact, let me open it up. In there, I talked about, right, hold on, before I go there. So men want to fuck women, women want to fuck men, right? But as we're waking up, we're not interested in just fucking anybody, right? Pussy is easy to get, dick is easy to get, good dick is easy to get, good pussy is easy to get, with decent, normal people, right? And when you're interested in what I call creative sex, unified sex, where, and I'll read this to you right here. If you're craving the kind of sex that requires you, hold on, actually I edited it. Let me go over to where I edited it. Oh man, I closed it out over there. If you're craving the kind of sex that requires you feel each other, touch each other, and I edited this, feel each other, touch each other, and relax into it for, right? So feel each other, touch each other. And here's the thing, let's go here, let's go here. So sex strictly for pleasure is fine, right? Oh, this feels so good. Yes, 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 right? One of the functions, and I'm not saying this is required all the time, but one of the functions of sex is to heal. There's lots of communication in sex. If you didn't already know this, like if you already know this, obviously I'm preaching to the choir, okay? When I say feel into each other, feel into each other, touch each other consciously, and you relax into each other, that's for the allowing of healing to occur naturally. Now, in order for this to happen, the ego is silenced. So all of the performative, and this is what repels a lot of men from women just out in the world when we're looking at you. And it really depends on the woman, right? Because like I said earlier, she can see your ego and still be like, okay, well, what else is interesting here? I'll look over that and recognize that your ego is doing, half of the talking here. But I also see that there's more to you. So we can keep going, right? Or depending on if she just wants to be bothered with that, or she's not interested. And she's like, if you don't come at me with that thing silenced, right, and come at me pure, come at me true, then you need to move on to some chick who has a higher threshold, higher threshold for dealing with men's egos. Okay. In order to do this here, what I'm talking about, where you feel into each other and touch each other consciously, meaning when I choose to gently touch your dick, right, and wrap it around my hand, right? Maybe there's lube on my hand, maybe there's not. Maybe I just got off of it, so my liquids are on you, and I just choose to grab it and put it in my mouth and do whatever I choose to do with it, right? Yes, pleasure is one piece of it. And when I'm awake and powerful in the way that I've described earlier here, There's a way that I can feel what's going on with you, like where it is you're looking to heal. If you have a dream that you're working on, that maybe you're moving through some kind of challenge around it, I know exactly, just like touching you in that way in really sensitive areas. And the penis is just one area. It could be behind your ear. The clitoris has, they say 8,000. I don't know how they came to that. Well, listen, okay. There could be way more, right? But they say there's 8,000 nerves on the clitoris, like the most pleasureful center on the woman's body. And yet it could be 3/4 of the way down her spine where you pick up a communication if you're touching her consciously, kissing her consciously, feeling subtle movements in her body. This is what I call unified sex. And as I said here in this email, that this is way beyond just sheer ejaculation. Now, there is a place for just fucking for 5 minutes and being done. There's a place for that, for sure. Okay. And what's happening, what I'm seeing in myself and in conversations with other women, a lot of women are divorcing their husbands, first of all, a lot. Even as I'm listening to other women who I'm not necessarily in conversation with, but I'm listening to their content or their podcasts or whatever, even they are having a lot of women who are divorcing their husbands. And the general resounding sentiment is that the connection is not there. And much of the connection happens in the bedroom. Unless these are two people who are just not into sex, then maybe they can be like, married couples who are like good friends, but their bedroom life is non-existent. Like, that's a different dynamic. I'm talking about people who are interested in sex, are craving more in the bedroom, okay, than just a nut. Or, when you've been married for a while, and I know what this is like, where you know what he likes, he knows what you likes, and you guys get to it. And it's not necessarily a quickie, but you get in there, you do what you guys know you do, and then that's the end of it. And you guys are in your cycle of that, right? And then if a woman is craving more, and in that more, it requires the man to be open to healing himself, going deeper into himself, hearing truths that perhaps up until now he's never heard. And is he open to that? And so a lot of women are leaving their husbands because their husbands are not open to that, because that marriage has run its course. And that's another thing about marriage. Like, you gonna talk to me about evolution and marriage at the same time? So I can evolve in this marriage, but this marriage can't evolve and end? Like, see? Like, it's like this whole, well, these exceptions. Well, I know there's a growth and evolution, but you can grow and evolve in this marriage. And we decide we're going to stay here forever. Okay. Well, if it's actually meant for you guys to be together forever, then okay. And then is that a decision? So if information comes through while you two are deep in healing, transformative, unified sex, and a communication comes through that this relationship is coming to an end, do you know that that can happen in unified sex? You can know things that are coming. You can know things that are coming. You can get an answer to a decision, to a question. You just know that when you're in this kind of sex, we're deeply connected, where the vigilance center it's like it's gone. The vigilance center in a woman that makes her clench up, that makes her be tight, that makes her say no to you, that makes her be fight or flight, freeze. The vigilance center in a woman, when that is relaxed, and then it's also relaxed in a man, and there's unified sex going on, there's so much that happens in communication with the unseen. You can predict the future. You just know things. And in that unified sex with your wife, she might get the communication that this marriage is coming to an end. See, people, when you really are waking up, you're dealing in a whole other dimension. Like, the world is a lie. The whole world is a lie. The whole world is a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. And depending on what world you're in, like what I found is with Black people, there's a lot of, like, in the conscious community, Jesus Christ, not interested, but there's a lot of just scarcity. Like, it's a lot of language, but there's a lot of scarcity. And anyway, I don't even want to talk about it. And then in other, outside of Black people, I'm telling you, Black people have their own soup. Black people really do have their own soup and ways that we fuck ourselves. There's very certain things that are particular to Black people. That's actually a whole nother session. But this concept that there is a life within this marriage, there's a life here within this marriage, and that there's a growth and that there's an ending and that we can end this well and move on. Like, that is not common thought in Black consciousness. That I've been married to this person for 8 years, 12 years, however many years, it has been wonderful. They have been my person for this part of my journey on life. And it's a very clear message that it's time for us to end. Okay. And that's okay. That doesn't mean you failed. Like, and so then what we do is, you over here talking to me about law, you over here talking to me about cause and effect, about all the laws, fill in the blank, right? Gender, you know, time and space, the bending of things, that we are the essence of the moon, sun, trees, that we're these infinite beings, but yet and still I'm a failure if my marriage here ends, which most of us, if we really get into why we got married, under what conditions we got married, the real reason we got married, what's going on in the marriage, yeah, it's time for the marriage to be over. And you're not bad and wrong and a failure. Unless, look, do you feel like you're bad and wrong and failure? Good, go ahead and punish yourself like that. You can do that, it's your choice. However, it can be very real that where it is you desire to go, and not even desire, where are you supposed to go? Where does Spirit tell you to go? How are you supposed to be living? Who are you supposed to be with? When you envision you and your life and who you are, did you get clear communication from Spirit of what you're supposed to do, and you're not doing it because, oh, that feels, whatever. Meanwhile, your spouse is feeling the same way. He or she is not saying it, okay? And now what happens? Some kind of rupture happens by force because y'all ain't acting, okay? Something happens, some near-death experience happens. I don't know, all kind of crazy shit start happening in a marriage, and y'all know what I'm talking about, okay? And so this is what I mean when you are really powerful women. You want to fuck a powerful woman, you can't play like this. You guys could get married, like a formal marriage, but it might only last for 3 years. That's fine. That's not a failure. Or maybe she doesn't want to get married at all. And that's okay. What does that mean? I mean, like, what does that mean to you if she doesn't want to get married? What does it mean to you if he doesn't want to get married? And not because he doesn't love you or care for you or whatever story you can make up to measure that against your worthiness and how much he loves and cares about you. Like, back up. Humans by nature are selfish, first of all. By nature, we're selfish. By nature. Human nature. Don't take it personal, okay? By nature, we're selfish. Those of you who have children, aren't your children selfish until you teach them to be selfless? They're selfish as fuck. Humans are selfish by nature, first of all. Any way that we're selfless, we choose to. We have choice, free will at all times. If you judging somebody's level of selfishness or that's your call, your choice, so what? Does that mean it's true for them? It may or may not. But at the end of the day, somebody is in a relationship with somebody because they're getting something out of it. Every person is in a relationship with the person that they're in because they're getting something out of it. Regardless of this love, we love each other and all that, something got you there with him, with her. And if you want to fuck a powerful woman, you got to be honest completely. She don't give a fuck. Like, she'll destroy. Like, a lot of people, men, part of the war is, the war that's going on is men keep trying to hold women to these tight archetypes. Like, this is what constitutes a woman, right here. This, and this. I need you to submit. Like, boy, go find a bitch who want that. She gonna be in pain with your ass in a few years. Okay, believe me, unless she genuinely desires that. If she's doing that because of programming, because of her mama said, because she's scared of being alone, because she's scared of whatever, any lie, she get with you because of any lie or programming, in some years, it could be 2 years, it could be 20 years, she gonna be in pain and she not gonna like you. Then she gonna have to do all kind of work to even let the words come out of her mouth to tell you what she actually wants. So, and a lot of men don't even give a fuck. They just, as long as they get what they want, then it's cool. So if you want to go in that cycle, humans like that shit, fine, go that way. What I'm saying is, you want to fuck a powerful woman and be in unified creative sex, which may be a year relationship. It could be a 6-month relationship. It could be a 1-year relationship. It could be a 10-year relationship. It could be the rest of your life. This could be your person for the rest of your life. When you tell them the truth, it does what it do. Okay? And you in communication with the unseen world, you get instructions all the damn time, like clockwork. And if you're not really living like that, then you don't even believe in getting instructions all the time. And because if you're not following the instructions, then you're not going to trust what it is that I'm talking about or know it because you don't live it. But when you really live this way, there's a complete trust and knowing. It's not even a trust at that point. It just is. That's how you live. You rely on that. Nothing in the outside world. And most people are not living like that. So what happens is, dudes want to just come fuck. So then they end up fucking a bunch of chicks, but they still are left hungry. They ejaculating all over the place, but they still hungry because they going for women who's still tight and these tiny archetypes trying to appeal to men, which means her pussy ain't woke, her heart ain't woke, her mind ain't woke, her electric frequency ain't woke. So when you fuck her, that's what you're getting: decreased wokeness, decreased energy, a sleeping pussy, a sleeping heart, a sleeping head. And that's why you gonna fuck around and fuck 100 women in the next 90 days and be hungry and exhausted. That's how it goes. The same thing with women. You could be fucking one dude who not awake and not open, and your ass, your skin, you'll be dehydrated, you confused, you know what I mean? You, depending on how your body made up, you either overeating or undereating. So when you get to this place I'm talking about, which is an absolutely fucking glorious place, there's vulnerability and it's just whatever is true. There's no making up anything. It is the calmest, the freshest, the realest electric place ever. It's where you want to be. It's where you want to fuck from. It's where you want to penetrate from. It's where you want to create from. It's where you want to unite from. And it's the only thing a powerful woman will accept. The only thing. So you want the best life ever. And I feel like what I'm saying right now is, it's like fantasy. Like, the name of the world is on fire. We're in a recession. You know, fill in the blank with whatever reason you would come up with why a person can't have this, or why in the back of your mind you shunning what I'm saying. Because I know it's folks shunning what I'm saying, especially if you've been living inside of undesirable or pain or, you know, stuff you don't like for a long time. Sometimes it's kind of hard to imagine this, what I'm talking about. The issue is, the ones of us who are living in this, we're living it in it alone. Yes, there are the women who have it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those women who has that right now. I experience so much goodness alone. So much goodness alone. Before I came to this level of awakeness, finding a man and fucking is easy. And this is for all women. Like me right now, if I wanted to fuck tonight, I could leave here right now. I actually know what bar I could go to right now. Well, not right now because it's 8:30 in the morning, but this afternoon, and pick up a guy and be, because I know a bar that's next to a hotel that's about 15 minutes from where I live, a nice one, where I could say and do all the things that I know typical men fall for. And we could be in the hotel this afternoon fucking, if that's all it was about. Find, like I said, dick and pussy is easy. Coming in this way that I'm talking about is a whole nother ordeal. It's actually easy. It's just typically harder for the men. What I find is women, like even when I was doing Penetrate Her last year, the women were showing up easy, easy. Money in hand, ready for the retreat in Atlanta at the Four Seasons. I had put down a deposit at the 50th floor penthouse in Atlanta for the Heart Retreat in Atlanta last year. The women were showing up ready to pay. Literally, I was not letting them pay. They were ready to pay. I was not letting them pay. Why? Because the men were showing up in my inbox saying they wanted it. But what happens is when you're in this kind of power, the energy does the work for you. The energy does the work for you. Men will fall off, okay? And the few who are really ready to play, devoid of ego and needing to control. A lot of men want to control. They think they want a powerful woman, but they really, like I even said in this email that I am sending to my email list, and the opening of the email says, because the subject line says fucking powerful women. And the first thing it says inside is, first of all, why? True intent is everything. You want to fuck her to have some of the power she has? You want to fuck her for ego or mere pleasure? Because women out of power don't do it for you? You want to break her? Are you yourself a supremely powerful man whose creation requires a powerful woman? Are you ready to do what you came here to do? And that includes being with a powerful woman? Whatever the intent, she'll know. I'm going to change that to read, whatever the intent, the energy will show. Because that's exactly what happens. This is what I mean, like last Friday when I said patriarchy has really fucked up men. It's really fucked up men. Because deep inside, the part of them that's supreme really does crave true kingship, right? And all these archetypes come to people's mind when you say king, right? And yet, living under patriarchy, a lot of men don't know their feelings. They don't know how to connect with their feelings. If a woman was completely soft and relaxed her own vigilance center, because she had that kind of control over herself, and wrapped herself in a beautiful silk robe and created an environment that was fresh and pure and loving and that smelled good, and she was fresh and pure and loving and smelled good, and she placed herself in front of him, part of him would not know what to do. He would go into some kind of freeze. He would go into some kind of like performative control. This is what patriarchy has done to men. The average man wouldn't know what to do. He would do something that's quite predictable. Or some other ego-based performance. Yeah, which is predictable. And so to fuck a powerful woman, there's being honest. And honest sounds so easy, and yet it's so difficult, especially when clothes are off and emotions are exposed and just the truth just is. You don't have to talk. You don't have to talk. So the men fell off. It was a very interesting experience too. And yet there's another way. There is another way. There's other conversations to be had. A lot of people don't have places where they can go, to be honest, to exist on a different frequency. Or as one woman I was listening to the other day, she talked about how she has a regulated nervous system because that's her work in the world, helping folks regulate their nervous system. And she's like, a lot of people become discombobulated in my presence because they're not used to being in the presence of a person with a regulated nervous system. And that is true. It's the same with me. And so when you're dealing with a man who You know, I've never met a woman like you, or you're different. Like, I hear that all the time. You're different. All over the world. So I'm giving you some insight into how to fuck a powerful woman if you're a powerful man. And if she lets you in and you're less than powerful, there's something in her that actually wants the pattern interrupt. But the man's ego will think like something else. Ah. So this is the last day of the Command the World stage series. Whatever is next, you shall know in time. Naima Singletary signing off. And remember, life is a hard